Let me ask you something. When's the last time you looked in the mirror and didn't just see your face, but saw the fire behind your eyes? When's the last time you stopped scrolling, stopped comparing, stopped running from the quiet, and just asked yourself, what kind of life am I really living? We live in a world where distraction is louder than direction, where comfort is easier to choose than courage, where people chase applause before they chase purpose. But that's not the life you were meant for. You weren't meant to just survive. You weren't meant to exist. You were meant to live, to love deeply, to work with integrity, to chase something that wakes you up in the morning with fire in your soul and keeps you up at night dreaming about what's possible. But here's the truth, and it's a hard one. Your life does not change by accident. It doesn't shift because you hope it does. It doesn't evolve because someone hands you a motivational quote and walks away. No, your life changes when you decide to confront it. When you sit with your fear and say, I'm done letting you drive. When you stop blaming, stop waiting, and start walking, even if it's with a limp. I've seen people go from rock bottom to standing on stages, from heartbreak to healing, from addiction to inspiration, not because the world handed them a miracle, but because they decided to become the miracle themselves. And that decision, that turning point, it never shows up when things are easy. It shows up when you've had enough. When you get tired of saying, maybe tomorrow, and you whisper, no, it starts today. So if you're still here, still watching, still breathing, that's all the permission you need. That's your sign. Because maybe, just maybe, these 37 minutes were meant to find you right now. Not by accident, not by luck, but because a part of you is ready to shift from fear to faith, from passive to powerful, from existing to living on purpose. Keynote 1. The power of taking full responsibility for your life. Let's start with something simple, but not easy. If you want to change your life, you have to take responsibility for it. That doesn't mean blaming yourself for everything that's gone wrong. It means owning your power, even when life has tried to convince you that you don't have any. Because here's the truth. The world is unfair. Life throws curveballs. People hurt you. You get rejected. You lose. You fall. But none of that, not 1 ounce of it, can define who you become unless you let it. Responsibility isn't about fault. It's about response. You may not control what happened to you, but you do control how you show up now. You control what happens next. And the moment you truly accept that, you take your power back. Most people don't change because they're waiting for someone to fix them. They're waiting for closure, for justice, for an apology, for the perfect time, or some magical feeling of motivation to strike them in the middle of their chaos. But here's the catch. Nobody is coming. That's not pessimism. That's freedom. Because once you stop waiting on someone to rescue you, you realize you've been holding the key the whole time. You realize the things holding you back aren't always external. They're often the stories you keep telling yourself. I'm not good. Enough. It's too late for me. I'll fail again. People like me don't succeed. This is just who I am. Let me tell you something. Those thoughts, they're not facts. They're scripts. And you've been rehearsing them so long you've forgotten you wrote them. But the good news is you can rewrite them, and it starts by taking ownership of 3 powerful things. Your mindset, how you interpret the world, changes what you see in it. You can see a closed door and say, I'm stuck. Or you can say, that just wasn't my door. You can see failure and say, I'm worthless. Or you can say, I'm growing. Most people don't realize how much of their suffering comes from the meaning they attach to events, not the events themselves. Your decisions, you choose what you tolerate. You choose what you prioritize. You choose where you spend your time, your energy, your love, and when you stop living on autopilot, when you stop reacting to life and start responding to it with intentionality, you start building something that's real. 3. Your circle. The people you allow into your life shape the person you become. Some people water your dreams, others choke them, and if you want to elevate, you can't keep entertaining what's meant to distract you. Taking responsibility means letting go of excuses, even the justifiable ones, and saying, "It ends with me. This version of my life, I've outgrown it, and I'm ready to show up for something greater." That doesn't mean you never fall again. It means now, when you do, you get up on purpose. And every time you rise, you're proving to yourself that you're no longer a victim of your past. You're a builder of your future. Keynote 2. Discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality. You've got a dream? Good. But here's a hard truth. A dream without discipline is just a fantasy. It feels good to visualize the success, to imagine the car, the house, the peace, the applause. But none of that matters. None of it. Unless you're willing to do the things most people aren't willing to do. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's not Instagrammable. It's not sexy. It's showing up when you don't feel like it. It's saying no when it would be so easy to say yes. It's waking up early when the bed is warm and the world is quiet. It's writing when nobody's watching. It's practicing when you're tired. It's doing the boring, hard things that stack up over time and become the life you said you wanted. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they lack consistency. You don't rise by what you do occasionally. You rise by what you do relentlessly. And here's what nobody tells you. Discipline isn't just about achieving something. It's about becoming someone. You don't just train your body. You train your character. You build integrity. You build grit. You build trust with yourself, which is the foundation of real self-esteem. Confidence isn't something you find. It's something you earn by showing up again and again, even when nobody is clapping, even when no one sees, even when it doesn't look like it's working, because that's when most people quit. And if you can train yourself to push through that, to keep going when the feelings are gone, when the hype is gone, when the motivation is gone, that's when the real transformation starts. Discipline teaches you one of life's greatest truths. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. So let me ask you, what are you building daily? What habits are you reinforcing? What does your life say you're committed to? Because your results don't lie. They're just a reflection of what you've prioritized consistently. Want a better life? Build better patterns. And it doesn't start with a massive overhaul. It starts small. One better decision, 1 hour less on your phone, one more rep in the gym, one healthier conversation, one less excuse, one more step forward. That's the secret. Not in a book, not in a video, but in what you're doing when no one is watching. Discipline is the builder of destiny. You show me someone who doesn't skip steps, who honors their word, who practices in the dark, who is ruthless with their focus, and I'll show you someone the world won't be able to ignore for long, because success doesn't shout. It whispers. It shows up quietly, through habits, through actions, through discipline, and before the world sees it, you have to believe in it yourself. So don't just dream it. Discipline it into existence. Keynote 3. You must learn to be alone without feeling lonely. There's a moment in every person's life when they realize the crowd has gotten too loud and the inner voice has gone silent. And that's a dangerous place to be, because when the noise of the world drowns out the whisper of your soul, you lose the map. You start following trends instead of truth. You start chasing validation instead of purpose. You start living for other people instead of living for you. But you can't truly find yourself in a crowd. You find yourself in solitude. You learn who you are, not when you're surrounded by applause, but when it's quiet, when the room is empty, when there's no one to impress, no one to distract you, and nothing left to hide behind. That's where growth begins. But here's the part that scares people. Being alone feels uncomfortable. It brings up your insecurities, your doubts, your past, your fears. That silence, it exposes the noise you've been running from. And that's exactly why you need it. Because if you can't be alone with your own thoughts, you'll never trust your own voice. If you can't be alone and feel whole, you'll chase people to fill a void they were never meant to fill. You'll end up attached, not connected. You'll confuse attention for affection. You'll settle for something instead of waiting for what's right, just to avoid the ache of being by yourself. But here's the truth. There is a huge difference between being alone and being lonely. Loneliness is when you forget your own value. But being alone, that's a gift when you understand its purpose. It's where you recalibrate. It's where you figure out what truly matters to you, not what everyone else expects. It's where you get clear on your standards, your vision, your non-negotiables. Because if you don't define those things in solitude, the world will define them for you. Time alone sharpens your intuition. It deepens your wisdom. It teaches you that peace isn't something you find in other people. It's something you cultivate inside. The most powerful people in the world aren't the loudest. They're the most grounded. And grounding comes from self-awareness, from stillness, from knowing, I don't need the noise to know my worth. Can you sit in a room by yourself, without distractions, and still feel whole? Because that's the test. That's the forge. The one who has mastered their solitude is dangerous, not because they're isolated, but because they're unshakable. So don't fear being alone. Learn from it. Use it. Embrace it. Because once you do, you'll never again settle for half-hearted love, noisy friends, or shallow goals, just to fill an empty space. You'll know your worth, and once you do, your life begins to reflect that value in every single way. Keynote 4, every setback is a setup for a greater comeback. Let's talk about pain. Let's talk about failure. Let's talk about the moments in life where everything you believed in, everything you worked for, everything you hoped for, crumbled in front of you. It's easy to stand tall when life is going your way. But what about when it's not? What about when you gave your heart and it still wasn't enough? When you took the risk and lost everything? When your dream, the one you sacrificed everything for, didn't work out? That's when the voice in your head gets loud. See? You're not cut out for this. You should have played it safe. You'll never recover. But here's the truth most people forget in the middle of their struggle. Every setback has a lesson, and every lesson is fuel for your comeback. You don't grow in the spotlight. You grow in the shadows. You grow when you're down on your knees, questioning everything, and somehow still find the strength to stand. Because failure isn't the opposite of success. It's the foundation of it. Think about it. The gym doesn't build muscle unless there's resistance. A blade isn't sharp unless it's been through fire. A diamond isn't formed without pressure, and character isn't built without adversity. You weren't meant to live a life free of pain. You were meant to live a life that uses pain. Because when life breaks you, it's not the end. It's the beginning of something deeper. It's the moment you decide who you're going to become now that the plan fell apart. Will you give up, or will you get wiser? Will you let it define you, or refine you? Pain is not meant to imprison you. It's meant to educate you, to show you what's real, to teach you resilience, to build the kind of depth that surface-level comfort could never give you. And the most beautiful part is this. When you come back from pain, you come back with fire. You come back with compassion, with perspective, with humility, with strength you didn't even know you had. You start walking differently, talking differently. You stop tolerating nonsense. You stop wasting time. You stop making excuses, because once you've been through the fire and made it out the other side, you stop pretending to be anything other than fully alive. You don't wait for permission anymore. You don't apologize for wanting more. You don't shrink to make other people comfortable, because you know what it took to get here, and you're not about to waste it. The world doesn't need people who've never failed. It needs people who've failed, who've felt it, and who've come back stronger, kinder, wiser, and more driven than ever before. So if you're in the middle of your setback right now, hear this. This isn't the end of your story. It's the chapter that gives the rest of your story power. You're not done. You're being refined. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. Your comeback is coming. If you're willing to stand up one more time, then you fall. Keynote 5. If you don't value your time, no one else will time. It's the one thing you never get back. You can lose money and earn it again. You can lose a job and find a new one. You can even lose relationships and rebuild. But the seconds, the minutes, the years, once they're gone, they're gone. And yet look around. How many people treat their time like it's disposable, scrolling for hours, entertaining drama, saying yes to things they don't believe in, wasting their energy on people who don't? Respect them, living like they have forever, when they don't even have tomorrow guaranteed. That's the trap. Because when you don't value your time, you teach others not to value it either. People will take from you as much as you allow. They'll interrupt your peace, your focus, your dreams, if you haven't made it clear that your time has weight. So the question is, do you move like your time is priceless or like it's on clearance? The most powerful shift you can make in your life is this. Start treating your time like the sacred thing it is. Guard it. Structure it. Protect it from chaos, noise, and people who don't respect your growth. When you value your time, you stop spending it. You start investing it. You invest it in habits that stretch you. You invest it in people who inspire you. You invest it in building the future you want, not escaping the present you've settled for. It's not about becoming cold, it's about becoming clear. Not everyone gets full access. Not every invitation deserves a yes. Not every opportunity is meant for you, because not everything aligns with where you're going. But it takes courage to say no. Courage to cancel the distractions. Courage to look at your calendar and ask, is this building my legacy, or just filling my schedule? Your time should reflect your values, your goals, your purpose. And if your day doesn't reflect those things, you're drifting. And when you drift, you lose. See, the people who rise in this world, they don't just hustle. They focus. They know when to say yes. They know when to walk away. They know that time is a mirror, and if you want to change your life, you start by changing how you spend each hour. So look around. Who gets your time? What habits take it from you? What distractions are robbing you blind while convincing you that it's just 5 minutes? Your future depends on this moment. Not on some magical day in the future, but right now. Right here. Because time is your greatest currency, and every second you give away carelessly, you trade a piece of your future for comfort, for fear, for approval. But when you respect your time, when you elevate your standards, everything changes. Your energy shifts, your circle evolves, your goals sharpen. Because now, you're not just living, you're building. And you're not just spending time, you're turning it into something that matters. Keynote 6. Surround yourself with people who make you want to be better. Let's get real. You can have all the ambition in the world. You can read the books, watch the videos, do the morning routine. But if you're surrounded by people who are dragging you down, you'll stay stuck. You don't rise alone. You rise with the people. You keep close. Your environment either fuels your fire or puts it out. It either challenges you or enables you. It either speaks to your potential or reminds you of your past. So ask yourself, who's in your life right now? And are they pushing you forward or holding you back? Do they clap when you win or do they stay silent? Do they encourage growth or mock it? Do they want what's best for you or what's convenient for them? Sometimes the people closest to us are the ones most threatened by our growth. Because when you level up, it reflects back what they're not doing, and that can make people uncomfortable. But here's the truth. Your loyalty to your potential must be stronger than your loyalty to your comfort. You don't owe anyone your future just because they were part of your past. You don't have to shrink to keep other people comfortable. You deserve to be around people who call out your greatness, people who tell you the truth even when it's hard, people who make you want to become more, not less, and no, that doesn't mean you cut people off just because they're not perfect. But it does mean you get intentional, because your circle is your mirror. If everyone around you is negative, playing small, settling, you'll eventually do the same. But if you're around driven people, people who challenge themselves, people who talk about ideas instead of gossip, people who dream big, act big, think big, you start to rise just by being in the room. Energy is contagious. So is laziness. So is doubt. So is fear. So you have to ask, what are you catching from the people you're around? Because if you're the smartest one in your circle, you're in the wrong circle. You should be a student, not the ceiling. You should be learning, growing, stretching, daily. You weren't meant to walk this path alone, but you were meant to choose who walks it with you. It's not just about connection, it's about alignment. Who helps you stay accountable? Who reminds you why you started? Who doesn't let you make excuses? Who sees your vision even when it's not visible yet? That's your tribe. That's who you build with. That's who deserves access to your energy, your time, your trust. So audit your environment. Protect your space. Curate your circle. And if no one around you is pushing you to be better, it's time to walk alone until you find the ones who will. Because in the end, the right people don't just stand beside you. They pull you forward. They believe in you before the world does. And they make sure you don't forget who you are, even on your hardest days. Choose them wisely. Your future depends on it. Let me tell you something. If no one has told you this before, you were born with purpose, not to live on autopilot, not to blend in. You were built to lead, to rise, to stand for something. You don't need perfect circumstances. You need a decision. You don't need approval. You need a commitment. And you don't need anyone to open a door for you. You are the damn door. Enough waiting. Enough doubting. Enough telling yourself that one day you'll show up. This is your day. If you want transformation, stop dipping your toe in the water. Dive in. Own it. Burn the boats. This is your life we're talking about. This is your one shot. So if you've been quiet, it's time to speak. If you've been small, it's time to step up. If you've been hiding, it's time to walk into the room like you belong there, because you do. Don't play scared. Don't play soft. And for God's sake, don't settle for a life that's less than what your soul is screaming for. You want to change your life? Stop waiting. Start walking. And remember this, the people who change the world aren't always the smartest, the strongest, or the most gifted. They're the ones who looked life in the face and said, I'm not backing down. So what are you going to do with this moment? Will you go back to sleep? Or will you wake up for good? Because this isn't just a speech. It's a starting point. And the rest of your story? That's up to you. Would you like me to help format this into a closing slide script or use it for a dramatic voiceover ending as well? 4, you said, length. Let me tell you something that most people will never say to your face. Your life is waiting. It's not waiting for the perfect moment or the right mood or the approval of the people around you. It's waiting for you to stop holding back, to stop playing small, to stop pretending that you're not built for more, when deep down you know you are. Because if you really want to change your life, you can't whisper your way into greatness. You can't tiptoe into your purpose. You can't keep negotiating with your fears and expect to feel fulfilled. You've got to get loud about what you want. You've got to be clear about who you are. And you've got to be ruthless about cutting off the noise that's been holding you hostage. You see, the world has convinced you that you have time, that you can wait, that your dreams can sit on a shelf while you figure things out. But the truth? Time doesn't care. It will keep moving, with or without your permission. The question is, will you move with it? You don't need another motivational video. You need to decide that you're done wasting potential, that you're done being who they told you to be just to keep the peace. Because somewhere along the way, someone made you forget that you have fire in your bones. They made you believe that life was about survival, not expansion, about fitting in, not standing out, about shrinking, not shining. But hear me now, they were wrong. You were not put on this earth to merely get by. You were not created just to clock in and out, scroll your life away, and die with your music still inside you. You were born to build, to lead, to feel deeply, to fail boldly, and to love fiercely. You were born to leave something behind that cannot be erased. But that kind of legacy doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you finally look in the mirror and say, I'm done pretending, I'm done waiting, I'm done being anything less than what I was created to become. You've heard the voice in your head whispering, there's more to you. You felt that quiet pull in your gut. I'm meant for something bigger. That voice? That pull? That's not noise. That's truth trying to get your attention. That's your calling, knocking on the door of your soul. Let me talk to the part of you that's tired. The part of you that smiles in public but crumbles when you're alone. The part of you that's been pretending, performing, and pushing through. Because it felt like no one ever stopped to ask, are you okay? That part of you that's still waiting for someone to come save you. I want you to know something right now. No one is coming. No one is coming to pull you out of your pain. No one is coming to fix your life for you. No one is coming to hand you the dream, but that's not bad news. Because what that means is, you don't need to be rescued. You need to remember who the hell you are. You are not weak. You are not a victim. You are not broken. You are not too late. You are not too far gone. You're a fighter. You're a builder. You are a creator. You are capable of more than you've ever allowed yourself to believe, and you already have everything you need inside of you, not out there, not in someone else, right here, inside you. It's been buried under the noise, under the fear, under the opinions of people who had no right to define your value, but it's still there, that light, that fire, that truth. It never went out. So, here's what I want you to do. I want you to stop running from yourself. I want you to stop waiting for the world to give you a sign. This is your sign. Stop shrinking just to keep other people comfortable. Stop dimming your light because someone else couldn't handle your shine. Stop walking around like you're ordinary. You're not. You were never meant to live on autopilot. You were never meant to be numb. You were never meant to blend in with the noise. You were meant to feel everything, to give something, to build something, to become something that turns heads and shakes souls. But that won't happen by accident. It happens when you stop treating your life like it's disposable. When you stop wasting your energy on things, people, and patterns that drain your power. When you wake up and say, I'm done living below my potential. And listen, I know it's hard. I know what it feels like to question everything, to carry pain you can't even explain, to feel stuck in a cycle that keeps pulling you down, to look at your life and think, is this really all there is? But I also know this. You are one decision away from turning it all around. Not one miracle. Not one lucky break. One decision. To get back up. To try again. To let go of what's been killing your spirit. To speak the truth even when your voice shakes. To say, enough is enough. I'm done surviving. I'm ready to live. No more waiting for permission. No more trying to be ready. No more perfect timing. The perfect time is now. The right moment is this one. The breakthrough isn't later. It's here, if you have the courage to take it. I want you to hear me on this. If you're still breathing, you're not done. If your heart is still beating, there's still a purpose for you. And no mistake, no failure, no heartbreak, no dark chapter can ever cancel that out. You still have time. You still have fight. You still have worth. And now you've got the truth. So, take everything you've felt in these last 37 minutes. Every emotion, every realization, every spark of hope that's been reignited, and don't let it fade away. Don't walk back into your life like nothing changed. Because something has changed. You're not the same as you were before. You know too much now. You've heard the call. You've seen what's possible. And that means the old version of you, the one who hesitated, doubted, settled, that version is done. You're stepping into something new, something stronger, something bolder. And yeah, it's going to be hard, but you're going to do it anyway. Because now, deep down, you finally know what you're made of. You are not meant for smallness. You are not meant for silence. You are not meant to tiptoe through life, only to arrive at death safely. You are meant to wake people up just by walking in the room. You are meant to live so fully, so authentically, so powerfully, that your very presence gives others permission to do the same. And if you commit to that, if you choose you, then I promise you, You will not recognize your life 1 year from now. It will be bigger, braver, brighter. Not because the world changed, but because you did. So go, and make the rest of your life the loudest, boldest, truest, most meaningful chapter yet. This isn't the end. It's the beginning. And the world better get ready, because you're coming.